So first of all, I would like to describe a bit on the Geeks Learning Hub and how we created this platform. So this platform is basically created for all the professionals who would like to seek a career upliftment or any type of professional expertise where they think that they are getting stuck in their professional well-being and they want to take up some extra additional roles in the form of additional job assistance, and thereby they can come up to us at Geeks Learning Hub to learn the different technical capacities, and thereby they can utilize these technical capacities to ensure that they land up into a better job from what they have right now. With that being said, we have a lot of hire, train, deploy models. We support various clients and we support the different types of organizations which require our extensive technical support in the case of trainings as well. So I'll be quickly starting up with today's session. And today we would be understanding how exactly SAP BODS works. Again, thank you, each one of you. I mean, I am really grateful to each one of you that everyone joined today on a very bright Sunday from your busy schedule and have given us the opportunity to help you and to guide you into learning SAP BODS from the Geeks Learning Hub. So we would be covering these 9 basic modules which we actually do on SAP BODS. So if you see how we have created the modules for today's session, we would be going through the introduction of BODS. We would be understanding how exactly or how the entire baseline architecture works for SAP BODS. Then we would be moving forward to the components, the transformation rules that we see in BODS, the functionalities, or we can see the functions that we use on a regular note in BODS. Then SAP BODS as a data migration tool, because nowadays, if any one of you are into this SAP space or into this BODS space, you might be hearing this term of data migration. So people are mostly into like whether you have worked on data migration. If yes, then we can take you for a job opportunity, or we can like offer you a job opportunity. And thereby we'll understand what is the migration tool with integration to the SAP S4 HANA. And S4 HANA is a business suite on which we actually work and we load the data as a part of the target system. Okay. And then we have a variety of data loading techniques that we would be understanding in a very short nutshell, which is the IDOC, LSMW, LTMC, function module, and the migration cockpit. And thereby we'll just get a brief about the management console. So if I tell about BODS, so if you are very new to BODS, the only one thing that you need to understand that SAP has a lot of products. It can be SAP MM, SAP FICO, SAP SCM, there can be SAP PP, production planning, there can be plant maintenance, okay? There can be a lot of different types of modules, okay? Out of which SAP BODS is also such module, okay? So BODS stands for Business, Objects, Data, Services, okay? It's a very simple thing. Let us repeat. It is business, objects, data, services. Okay. So this BODS is also known as, in a very small nutshell, data services. Okay. So this BODS is exactly a ETL tool. So what is an ETL tool? Probably this name is a new one in the dictionary of today's session. So ETL stands for extraction, transformation, load, thereby ETL. Okay, let us repeat once again. It is extraction, then it is transformation, then it is load. Now, let us understand what is the different criteria the ETL works. So the first type or the criteria that we have is to extract the data. How to extract the data? So for example, one of my client XYZ tells me that we have the data in our Oracle database, or we have a data in our SAP ECC sandbox, or SAP, any type of legacy systems that they have. It can be Teradata, it can be Microsoft SQL Server, it can be anything. Okay. So we connect to BODS using a data store connection. Now, what is a data store? A data store forms the connection between a source or the target. So basically, if I tell you in a nutshell, BODS is like a bridge. It is trying to connect the source to the target. It is like one way you are taking the road, and the opposite, right opposite across the bridge, you can see that that is the target. So that is the point where you want to reach. Okay, so there is a starting point and there's an ending point. Okay, so we would be extracting the data from the source database. Then we would be understanding the requirement from our client in the form of transformation, which is the T. And thereby, we would be using the different types of load techniques that I just checked and discussed, which are the IDOC, LTMC, function module, migration cockpit, and the different types of other transformations that will be done. And therefore, the final thing that we will be loading in to the database. Okay, so this is all about our module 1 of SAP BODS. Okay, so for the architecture, it's very much important for us to understand the concept of the RDBMS, which is also known as the Relational Database Management System. Probably many of you might be non-technical cadre. So this RDBMS is the basic fundamental block which we have to keep in mind wherever we work on any type of database management system. Okay. So this SAP, entirely the concept which has been built on the application, contains the different types of service designer. It contains the different repository manager. It contains the server manager. It contains the workbench manager. Okay. It contains different types of data warehousing systems like the SAP Business Warehouse, SAP HANA, or a non-SAP data warehouse systems. Okay. So if everyone can focus on the picture, which you all can see on the right-hand side of the screen, you can understand that BODS contains the designer, job server, the engine, the repository, the access server, and the administrator. So these all of the things together build up the different components and the underlying architecture of BODS. Okay, so these things you cannot touch. So these are not the tangible things. These are something which forms the base module or the base layer on which we start working on the BODS. As you can see, on the topmost layer, it has the management console and the designer. The designer is the way, or it is the front end, the user interface that one can see when they work on BODS. So you will be only accessing the management console and the designer. However, underlying to that would be the repositories, the directories, the dictionaries, the address server, the engine, job server, access server, and the real-time clients. Okay. So then we understand the transformation. It is always important for us to understand that various types of transformations are going to be used in BODS in order to help us understand the different client working ideologies and to convert them into easy and simple building blocks so that the concept and the technique that they have described it to us via various mapping document, which we know as the data mapping sheet or the data mapping document. So once you consult with the functional counterpart of the client, you will understand which transformation would you be requiring, because it would not be mentioned whether you have to use a part of the data integrator transform whether you want to use a platform transformation, but it will be understood by you once you know BODS, which transform will set you or guide you in the right way to approach that particular rule so that you can come up and you can turn up into a particular solution for that complex issue. Okay. So the four types of transformation mainly that we would be having is a data integrated transform, data quality transformation, a platform transformation, and a text data processing. So we would be mostly focusing on the data integrator and the platform transformation because the text data processing and the data quality are rarely used in most of the data migration projects. Okay. So let us understand the basic functions that we can see or hear in BODS. So the first one is the lookup function. Then the next one is a map function. Then the third one is an aggregate function. The fourth one is a gen row num. And then we have the miscellaneous functions. Well, just to let you all know, these are not only the functions that we have in BODS, but there are a plenty. However, we have taken into consideration today being an introductory class to BODS in order to show you what exactly we have in BODS. Okay. So these different transformations or the functions that we are just discussing right now would help ensure you people to understand the BODS and the understanding of the various transformation rules that you need to apply while working on complex objects and while decoding the complex rules that your client would be providing to you, and you being a SAP BODS consultant would be able to ensure that you find out the suitable results or find out the probable solution to the complexities of your client's issues. Okay. Can someone just confirm if it is okay till here? Candidates, those who have joined, can you please let me know if till module 5 you people have got an idea?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? I can see someone from OnePlus, someone named SW5T, Shayan, Shrivani. Everyone could understand till here, till module 5, everything is clear. Okay. Can we go for the module 6? Okay, fine. We'll continue for module 6. So module 6 defines that BODS can be used or can be termed also as a data migration tool. If you know from the name, what is data migration? Data migration means data means any form of information, correct? Everyone knows that, okay? So data forms the basic level of information for any type of objects. It can be any type, it can carry any type of information related to a particular vendor. It can be a customer data, it can be a material data, it can be any type of transactional data, it can be finance data, it can be a GL, it can be profit center, it can be cost center, anything. Whatever is a data which will be converted from the source or the data source through BODS into the target system. Okay. As I already described, that BODS is an ETL tool which stands for extract, transform, load. So BODS can be helped as, or it can be utilized as a conversion tool so that you can collate all of the data sources. You can extract the data from the various operational systems or any type of ERM system or CRM system or ERP systems or CRM systems or different kinds of flat files, you can pull the data using various kinds of validation, transform, data cleansing, transformation, aggregating it, and thereby loading it into a data warehouse, or it can be any type of staging. So a staging table will be used as the part where you want to extract and keep your data for a long time for your transformational purposes. So once we stage the data and thereby we do all of our different necessities or different types of transformational rules we apply the logic on lookup, we use some NVL function and different types of functions that we have got. We cleanse the data and thereby the preload data that we have, we share it with the client. And once we see that, yeah, the data looks good, and once we get a head nod, we definitely start with the data load procedure, and which is through the different the entities that I just now discussed, which is the IDOC, LSMW, LTMC, function module, and the data migration cockpit, which is the latest form of the migration methodology. Okay. So thereby the data would be loaded to the SAP S/4HANA Business Suite. Okay. Is it clear, everyone? Good. So if I tell you all about the module 7, we would be understanding the brief on the SAP S/4HANA. As you all might be knowing or might not be knowing that SAP HANA is a very popular name when you understand or when you are working exactly in SAP ecosystem. Okay. So S/4HANA is a centerpiece. So it is a business suite. Okay. SAP HANA is an in-memory database. We might be knowing, we might not be knowing. It stores the data in the form of columnar storage. Okay. But S/4HANA suite is basically going to be used because it can be used to integrate with different types of source system, target systems. It can be used for reporting purpose. It can be used for any type of user interface design using the SAP Fiori UX concepts. Okay, it can be used for different types of applications with their extensions. So this you can tell this S/4HANA is like an entire ecosystem. So this will be like an entire thriving force or the driving force in order to take all of the SAP modules together. Okay, so this is the mother, I would say, of all of the modules if we want to integrate. So this gives the particular vendor or that particular client that leverage to act and to work upon various modules together and utilize them in the S/4HANA suite. Okay. So thereby we come to the module 8, which is the data loading techniques. And we learned the IDOC, the LSMW, LTMC function module migration cockpit. Okay. So these are something which are very much elaborate, which we would be discussing in the further discussions when we have more such interactive ideas of this type of modules. So for IDOC, we call it IDOC in a very short nutshell, but it means intermediary document or intermediate document. LSMW stands for Legacy System Migration Workbench. Okay. File-based upload method means if you are working on SAP Ariba. So SAP Ariba is also a part of SAP. Okay. So what we have to do, we have to create different types of objects and we have to send the files to the Ariba team. Because we are a data consultant, we are not going to have the access to the Ariba system. So what these data consultants of Ariba do, once you send them the flat files from your system, right, they will be taking the files as a source and they will be importing it into the Ariba system. Once they import it into Ariba system, the Ariba system understands the different data and the different types of quality of the data. Accordingly, it will do the necessary changes in its system, in its ecosystem, and thereby, if the load is successful, it will give us or they will tell us that, yeah, from SAP BODS, the data which has come up is fine and the data load is successful and the data has been loaded into the SAP Ariba ecosystem. Okay. Then we have the migration cockpit, which is known as the data migration cockpit, DMC. Okay. And thereby the final thing that we have is the function module, which you can call as per your own way of calling. That means that function module is a part of BODS which you can modify, because sometimes it might happen that the IDOC is not getting satisfied and you do not have any other special methods to load the data from your system to S4HANA using LSMW or file-based methods. So in that case, you have to have a custom method. So this custom method is known as the function module. So once you have the function module in place, once you call and once you write the function module, the ABAPer or the team who would be working on this module, they will be importing this module directly, and you can load the data into the target system, and thereby your data would be loaded. Okay, clear everyone? So these are the data loading technique. We understood about the extract part. We understood about the different transformations that are used in the ETL T part. Okay, now the L part is the load part. So these are the loading technologies or the loading methodologies. Okay, and finally we come to the module 9, which speaks about the data services management console, which is also known as DSMC. So this is a web-based service, and it can be also called as the administrator of BODS, where you can run jobs, you can schedule jobs, you have operational dashboard, you have data quality reports, then you have the administrator profile. So these different types of things you will be having over here, from where you can manage your job, modify your job, actually understand the auto documentation procedure, the different types of operations, the data and the impact lineage analysis, like what is the source of that particular table, where is it coming from. It will give you a heredity. It's like a lineage, that this table is coming from this table. So it will be helping you people to get a overview of the different types of estimations or different types of object level detail from the data services management console. Okay, so hereby,
हेलो
yes.
यस सर गुड मॉर्निंग सर मुझे वो बताइए
Okay. Uh, so thereby we come to the complete end of our presentation today, where we understood that it was very important for us to learn SAP BODS, because SAP BODS is such a tool right now at this point that till 2035, all of the older data are getting converted into the new systems, which is the S4 HANA. So this is the best time, and there are a lot of different kinds of opportunities that are going on in SAP BODS across various organizations and various corporates, and they are not getting good resources. Why? Because this SAP BODS training, more than half of us do not have any idea, or I would say more than 70 to 80% people do not have the idea. And for giving you people the idea, Geeks Learning Hub has come into action and has sprung into action, so that we can ensure that you learn from us, you get the delivery from us, and we help you people to get placed in your dream company at your dream job. So you can all email us at support@geekslearninghub.com. Our website is www.geekslearninghub.com, and you can follow us on all of our social media platforms with Geeks Learning Hub. Okay, so I would like to share or ask about your insight about this program, how you felt it, how you liked it, and what are your like understanding about this session. If any one of you can tell me.